Those of you who have brothers, sisters, friends and enemies in class 11, don't discuss my satanic plans with them and tell them that this was my objective. I would put it the other way around for them. I know how I can manage them, but don't pass on my real views on this. Alright, so just in case you happen to speak to them, act ignorant. So here we have a circuit which is, bless you, steady state accomplished. In the upper branch, the lower branch is inactive. The lower loop is inactive because of the open switch here. And under steady state conditions, the loop offers infinite resistance to current because of the capacitors, right? So there is no current driven in the upper loop. If there is no current driven in the upper loop, this 20 volts get equally apportioned between these two identical capacitors because there is no fall of EMF, no fall of potential across the resistance. So this 20 volts gets equally divided between these two capacitors, right? That means this becomes party to 10 volts, this becomes party to 10 volts. That means the charge on this is like 20 microcoulombs minus 20 microcoulombs, 20 microcoulombs minus 20 microcoulombs. That's a state of affairs at t equal to 0 when the upper one had reached steady state, the lower one was not participating, right? That means next what we do is we open this switch up. So we are decoupling the upper branch, we are decoupling the upper loop, and we close this. And we are enabling the lower loop. We are enabling the lower loop. What we then have is a charge capacitor with Q naught equal to 20 microcoulombs and a L in the circuit, right? So then there is a charge time variation in this LC circuit. This is like a typical LC circuit. The charge time variation on the capacitor then, would be Q equal to, well, Q naught is 20 microcoulombs, Q equal to Q naught cos omega t, yes or no? Where, what's omega? Omega would be 1 by root LC1. Omega would be 1 by root LC1 for the circuit. Clear? Now, so that was the angular frequency. The next part, determine the first instant t when the energy in the inductor becomes 1/3 that of the capacitor. Find the first instant t when the energy in the inductor becomes 1/3 the energy in the capacitor. Okay, let's say I is the current at such an instant. Then what's the energy in the inductor? Half Li squared, right? And that's 1/3 the energy in the capacitor. That means 1/3 Q squared by 2C1. Q squared by 2C1. Now, if Q is this, realize that I, which is minus dq dt, in this case, will be Q naught omega sine omega t, which would be q naught omega sine omega t, that's I, right? So this I can write as q naught omega sine omega t, L q naught squared omega squared sine squared omega t, right? Isn't it? That's so. In any case, this half and this half will get cancelled. So this is like 1/3 q squared. Q squared is q naught squared cos squared omega t by C1, right? So we have cancellation of this q naught squared from here and this q naught squared from there, and we have like a tan squared omega t is 1/3 1 by omega squared LC1, omega squared LC1. Tan squared omega t is 1/3 omega squared LC1, right? Hey, but omega is 1 by root LC, so omega squared LC1 is 1, omega squared LC1 is 1, so this is like a 1/3. So then tan omega t is 1 by root 3. The smallest time, so there are many instances in which many values of t for which tan omega t is 1 by root 3, but then the shortest value of t for which tan omega t is 1 by root 3 can be obtained when I take omega t as pi by 6, 30 degrees, right? So then t would be pi by 6 omega, where omega is 1 by root LC1. And at this instant of time t, you can obviously find the charge. Omega t is 30 degrees, so cos 30 degrees, so root 3 by 2 into q naught will be the charge at such an instant of time. Have you attempted 5?